Tell us about the Green Party's policy on air pollution in London.
The Green Party, more than any other party, realises that air pollution has a highly detrimental impact on people's lives. On children, for example, on the elderly, we see spikes in deterioration of health when there is one of these major smog alerts in London. 6,000 people dying a day, and this is preventable. We need to change our behaviour, we need to make public transport more affordable, to get people away from their cars, which is one of the main causes of this air pollution.
But cars are very popular. People want to be able to drive themselves around. Isn't this just another expression of the Green Party telling people what to do?
People justifiably resort to cars. There's no dispute about that. Public transport has suffered from underinvestment through privatisation. We want to make sure that public transport is properly funded and we'll make it affordable. And I think you'll find that given the choice, people would rather not be stuck in a traffic jam.
But that just means building more roads, a better infrastructure. You're trying to force public transport upon people when actually they quite like being in their own cars.
What we need to do is to reevaluate the use of road space. It's public space at the end of the day. And most people, when they go home, will find either they can't find a place to park, and the space effectively is being monopolised by cars, or it's getting in the way of their doing other things. So there are human scale options which are very popular, walking and cycling. We need to create more welcoming space for those modes of transport, and then we'll see whether people, through their own volition, choose those other options ahead of the car.
Isn't this just another example of the Green Party bringing everything back to climate change when actually most people in this country just aren't that concerned about the issue?
We're not about just pursuing the agenda that people are currently concerned about or is currently doing the rounds. We are about reminding people about the urgency of climate change for sure, and properly revealing the man-made effect on that, which is not just going to affect the current generation, but future generations and the biosphere. So we think once those points are articulated, people will be won over into better ways of life, which are win-win a lot of the time. Owning a car, insuring a car is a very expensive mode of transport, and it isn't very pleasant for a lot of people. So they'll have more in their pockets to be doing other things, and they'll be getting from A to B through a variety of other means, which we think would be more enjoyable.
You say that when these ideas have been articulated, people will be won over, but these ideas have been articulated and people haven't been won over. How's the Green Party going to deal with that?
At the end of the day, the bottom line is the bottom line, shall we say. Public transport, they will vote with their wallets a lot of the time. Public transport isn't affordable. There are many people right now who can't actually take up a job because the amount it would cost them to get there would negate the wage packet. So we need to make sure that public transport is affordable and that it's pleasant and it gets them from A to B efficiently. And once those things occur, then yes, once that infrastructure is in place, then I think people will move over to those modes of transport.
You're blaming the problems with public transport on privatisation, but the state wasn't able to organise transport properly before. Why would it be able to now?
I really want to be able to answer your question with a question. I'll refrain from doing that.
Just remember, it's not my view.
Yeah. Right, well, that isn't going to work live to cam, so good job it's not live, but...
Well, if it was live, you would be able to answer me with the question, remember? So there were always those...
Well, maybe I just should, but at least you give me a bit of time. So why do you think that the state has not been able to organise public transport in the past? Well, let me answer that question. I disagree with that. I disagree. That's actually a great answer. I disagree with the implication of your question. I should just say that.
Exactly.
Yeah. I disagree with the implication of your question. I think that the state has been systematically eroded of this responsibility. Privatisation has been the main stimulus for car ownership, and road building has simply resulted in more people buying cars in order to get from A to B, because that's been the only means. So we need to make sure that buses are available wherever you are across the country. And yeah.
Great. Really good.
Right.
It was a tough one at the end.
Yeah.
And I would say...
You've just given me a trick there, which is I disagree, because I so want to answer the question.